Welcome friends, today we are going to study the charts representing the arterial supply of the human body. So basically we are not going to go anything detail, we just want to learn from which artery the next artery will be formed and then what are the different supply for the various parts of the body. So basically we are having some charts of some regional division and we are going to just study the series of the names one after one. So it will be good for the Viva voice and general remembering about the sources of the blood supply. So here this is a circulation plan. We all know that our body has two types of circulation. One is for the systemic circulation for the whole body, and one is specific for the pulmonary circulation, that is from the heart to the lung. One specific type of circulation is just for the heart itself, that is known as coronary circulation, which you can study in our previous lectures. So we are not going to discuss much. So here you just see the charts. So one by one we are going to talk about it. This is the aortic arch. This is the left ventricle of the heart, from where the left and right coronary arteries are going to come along. Then it moves outside at the ascending aorta, left ventricle to the external angle. Then when it moves outside, it gives a branch of brachiocephalic branch which supplies head, neck, and upper right limb, which goes in further as the names of subclavian artery of right side, that is neck and right lumbar upper limb. Then it converts into the axillary artery, right side of course, and then to the other arteries of the upper limb. We'll talk them later. In the meantime, from the subclavian artery, one branch is moved towards the vertebral of what is known as vertebral artery. To the brachiocephalic, common carotid arises, which further divides into the internal and external carotid artery. Likewise, here there is little bit difference here. That is, the common carotid will be the direct branch of aortic arch on the left side. Then it will be same, that is external carotid and internal carotid. Then it gives to the moving towards the further, it will give the left subclavian, left axillary arteries to the left upper limb. So we should remember always that never the vessel is going to change, just the name is going to change of the vessel as per the respect of the region. So remember it very carefully. Then if you see the downward side movement, it is thoracic aorta. Thoracic aorta has two types of supply, visceral and parietal. Visceral it gives to the mediastinal, especially posterior mediastinal, esophageal branch, bronchial branch. Remember always, lung is supplied by bronchial branches. Then pericardial branches. Then there are parietal branches for the intercostals. The posterior intercostals, intercostal muscle, spinal cord, vertebrae, pleura, and skin, and then superior phrenic, posterior and superior part of the diaphragm. Then it is going to get pierced to the diaphragm and get converted into the abdominal aorta. The above to all this was the above the diaphragm. Now we'll talk about the below the diaphragm. Here you can see at the level of T12, it is going to divide it at the level of T12 portion, or you can remember L4 as the vertebral level. Again, it will have visceral supplies and parietal supplies. We'll talk about them in the next slides. So here you have to remember the general scheme of the division of aorta and its branches. So here we are specifically going to talk about the upper limb supply. So you can see our aortic arch is here. From there, the right side or brachiocephalic trunk will be there. It will give branch to the upper branch to the head and neck region, that is right common carotid artery, which will further divided into external and internal carotid artery. Then when it reaches to the subclavian area, and subclavian means below the clavicle, it is further divided into certain branches. You can see here some branches are named here. Right vertebral, which gives the right supply to the spinal cord, cervical vertebrae, uses the left vertebral to form the basilar artery in the cranium. Basilar artery, as we know, is going to form the circle of Willis on the posterior side of the uh, head region. Then it also gives the supply to the right thyrocervical trunk, which gives supply to the muscles and tissues, skin of the neck, right gland, shoulder, and upper back. Then in the front side, it gives the right internal thoracic branch. These are the branches of right subclavian. Remember, skin and muscle of chest, abdominal mammary gland, and pericardium. Simply you can remember one mnemonic: vitamin C D. So vitamin means vertebral artery, I means D means dorsal scapular artery. So we'll talk about them later again. Here you can see the three only. Then you can see it when reaches to the subclavian reaches to the axillary region, it is known as axillary artery. When it reaches to the brachial, it is known as brachial artery. At the region of the elbow, it is going to divide into radial and ulnar artery, and then there will be a aponeurotic type of things will form in front of digital artery, that is the arteries of the fingers. Okay, so this will be the scheme of right side of the hand. In the left side, you see everything is same except that left common carotid artery is the direct branch of aortic arch. Okay, so this will be the basically difference between the right side and the left side of the upper limbs. So remember the reasons. Then, as per the reason, the name will check. There will be certain specific characters also, which we will talk in the specific branches only. Then comes the abdominal aorta. Abdominal aorta starts from the level of T12 when it pierces the diaphragm, as we've already talked. From here, it will be talked. So it gives celiac trunk. Celiac trunks have basic three big branches: left gastric artery, splenic artery, common hepatic artery. Then it also gives to the two main bone branches, which are anterior branches, celiac trunk, superior mesenteric artery, inferior mesenteric artery. These supplies are confirmed at the time of embryology only. Okay, so whatever is from the fore part, it will be from the celiac trunk, then midgut, then it will from superior mesenteric, the hindgut, inferior mesenteric, and in between there will be junctions which can be defined. That is, they will have both type of supplies. So you can see some examples here that superior mesenteric gives supply from pancreas, small intestine, appendix, first two thirds of the large intestine. Inferior mesenteric gives to the last third part of the large intestine. Then there are certain branches. You can see here inferior phrenic artery gives the diaphragm, supply to diaphragm, inferior portion of esophagus, adrenal arteries, the renal arteries to the kidneys, gonadal arteries, testes and ovaries, lumbar arteries. These are actually the posterior arteries which is basically supplied to the vertebrae, spinal cord, abdominal wall, and lumbar region. As this is 2D diagram, so we have to understand these are the things. Then there is common iliac arteries at the region, and one specific artery which is direct continuation of the abdominal artery known as median sacral artery. So here the terminal artery will be right and left side of the common iliac artery, not the median sacral. Median sacral will be the part of abdominal aorta itself. This is also the same branch. Here you can little bit more clearly understand the anterior branches, that is celiac trunk, superior mesenteric, inferior mesenteric level. You can also see T12, L1 and L3. Then there are branches, inferior phrenic branch, which will more about the first branch of abdominal aorta is the inferior phrenic branch, obviously not the celiac trunk. Then there are some lateral branches like renal branches, then gonadal branches. The posterior branches are lumbar or spinal branches. So here you can see the medial sacral branches that look like at that point of bifurcation, which is at level of L4. It is bifurcated into two, that is common iliac right and left side, which is further going to divide into the other branches which we are going to see later on. Here they are shown the inferior epigastric, deep circumflex iliac, cremastic branch. So these are certain branches which you can remember of the abdominal aorta and iliac artery also. Now common iliac artery and further branches. So we will start from the point of bifurcation. Here there is no difference between right and left. So any of you can learn. So here it is on the right side of the part. So you can see right common iliac artery, which is supplied to the pelvis and right lower limb. Then divided into right external iliac, right internal iliac. Right external iliac we will study in other chart. Internal artery, you can see it is supplied to the pelvis muscle, ischemic viscera of pelvis, perineum, gluteal region, and middle. It gives other branches like superior gluteal, hip muscles, and hip joint, obturator ilium, hip and thigh muscle, hip joint, femoral head. Then internal pudendal, very important, is supplied to the rectum, anus, perineal muscles, external genitus. Remember, external genitus are supplied by internal pudendal, then lateral rotators of hip, and then there is lateral sacral to the muscles of sacral. So this is the ischemic division of the right common iliac artery, or you can call it common iliac artery. Now talking about the branch of external iliac, again lower limb branches. So it gives the branch femoral artery, which gives to the right to the thigh. And there are certain other branches like deep femoral, gives to the branches of the hip joint, femoral head, deep thigh muscles, which is again divided into two parts: median femoral circumflex, which gives to the adductor muscles, obturator muscles, lateral femoral circumflex, which is supplied to the quadriceps. Then there is descending genicular. Genicular means to the genu, that is knee joint and skin of the leg. Then it gets in the region of popliteus. It is named as popliteal artery, which gives supply to the leg and foot. Then further it divides into anterior tibial and posterior tibial. Then they goes to the lower part, that is foot region, where it gives the dorsal pedis, dorsal arch, plantar arch, and then to the metatarsal or digits. In the meantime, it also gives posterior tibial gives the branches to fibular and peroneal branches, which gives to the peroneal side of the fibular side of the posterior side of the leg region. So this is the schematic representation of the arterial supply of the lower leg. So basically talking about the head and neck region, it's not a detailed one but an easy one. So aortic arch, right and left here top, it will go to the brachiocephalic, then it will form the right common artery, which will divide into external carotid and internal carotid. Internal carotid will go and form the circle of Willis, which gives supplies to the brain region. On the left side, you see it is the direct aortic arch with direct branch to the left common carotid artery. Then again, internal carotid and external carotid. Left internal carotid also going to give to the part to the left circle of Willis. And from the right side, you can see the subclavians are there. Right subclavian and left subclavian, the direct branches are left vertebral and right vertebral. They go towards the back side of the head region, forms the basilar artery, and basilar artery in place gives the posterior communicating artery of the cerebellar artery. So this particular thing is known as circle of Willis, which will be talked in detail in some other lecture. This is just an ischemic representation. Same thing is shown here, but here basically you can see certain branches of external carotid are described like superior thyroid artery, lingual artery, facial artery, occipital artery, maxillary artery, superficial temporal artery. So these are the some branches of the external carotid artery. You can see here right and left external carotid artery are these two things. These two things are the right and left common carotid artery. Okay. And this inner part will be the right and left internal carotid artery. The internal carotid some branches are shown here, like ophthalmic artery, medial cerebral artery. This circle-like thing is circle of Willis. Okay, so this is anterior communicating artery from the posterior side to the posterior cerebral artery, communicating into basilar artery, then forming posterior communicating artery, and this whole circle is known as circle of Willis, which gives supplies to the brain. Then here they are talking specifically about the face region. So we are only right now concerned with the atrial part. So you can see here that atrial part, if we see, so it is external carotid, then its branches like facial branch, facial artery, okay, then transverse facial artery, infraorbital, which is the part of maxillary, then lacrimal artery, which is the part from the ophthalmic artery, zygomaticotemporal artery, which is the superficial temporal, and superficial temporal, which is the terminal branch of the external carotid artery. So here you can understand the blood supply of the face. There is little bit different in the venous drainage, which we'll talk in some other lecture. So this was the just an schematic representation of the charts of the atrial supply of our body. Basically, we have talked only about the basic things and important ones, not too much detail. But if this lecture, this small lecture will be very much beneficial for you, especially while revising the arterial supply of the whole body. Again, I will say, remember, the artery is always same, the vessel is always same. Just name is going to change as per the reason. This is very big difference between the nerve division. Okay, when we talk about nerve supply, we'll see nerve is directly coming from the source, each nerve. But here it is not the same thing. The vessel, the tube is same, just the name is going to change as per its location. Thank you.